Hello, my name is Brian Garrick. Here I am coming at you from my house, my lovely home, instead of in the theater. I just want to talk a little bit about today some of the things that I carry with me all the time. Last video, it does sound pretty similar to the last video, but those are the things that I carry with me as I'm working as an electrician. But this is just things that I carry with me all the time when I'm at home, whatever gig that I'm going to. These are just like very basic tools that I can use to do a lot of things with by carrying very, very little on me. And the way that I do that, so this guy here. This is an Alpaca Ghostling Nano. It's very, very tiny satchel. I love this thing very much because I think that it looks beautiful. It's the best bag that I've ever had. It slings around me kind of like this. So it kind of sits on my side, or I can throw it behind me if I'm working with my hands in front of me. I love this little thing. It's got a magnet so I can swing it off like that. If I'm wearing a bunch of bulky clothing, which I will be if you're living in Utah, it gets very cold, and so it's kind of hard to lift it over you if you're trying to take it off. But this is the bag that I carry with me all the time. And I'm going to show you a little bit what this thing can carry, because I fit a lot of stuff into this bag. So going into it, we got this one huge zipper on the top that opens up very wide, so you can see how my stuff starts spilling out right now. But I'm just going to go through basically everything that I have inside of it. One thing I have here is my badge here for my job with IATSE Local 99 at the Eccles Theater. So this is the badge that opens all the doors for me. You can also see on this, I got a lanyard on it. So I always keep it close to me, especially if you're doing load-ins. Things fall out of my pockets all the time, so I need to keep it tethered to me at all times so that I don't lose it. I like to wear these different like carpenter style pants that have an extra pocket on the side. I don't know how easy it is for me to show it on video. You can kind of see there's an extra pocket here on the side underneath my other pocket. So I shove it down there, and then I kind of clip it to myself there, and you can see springs out like that. So that's what I'm usually doing when I'm walking around. So I have extra pockets on me so I can shove other things in them. But I already have my pockets pretty full, and I'll show you what I use. Besides that, I have my work set of keys. I keep a work set of keys and I keep my own personal keys because, first of all, I don't like having my pockets full of jingling keys all the time. So I like to keep them separate, so I have just my house key, my car key, all the basics there, and then I also have everything that has to do with work, and none of them get, mixed in between, and I don't have to like shuffle through a bunch of keys if I'm trying to go somewhere. So that's what I recommend if you work in a building, especially a very large building where you have to have a lot of keys. Keep your house keys, keep your work keys, and that's what I do here. So you can see that. I like to put on a carabiner. I like to put all my keys on a carabiner. It drives my wife crazy because it's so bulky. But I like it because it's just easy to fish it out of my pocket. I don't know, just a personal preference. I love these black diamond carabiners. My wife got me this one. Very beautiful. I love these things very, very much. Next thing I have in my bag is my little leather pouch where I have lots of mini tiny tools. And this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to talk about that I carry with me all the time, including the kit that I have with my daily, my daily stuff working as an electrician. I also have this sitting in my pocket. This is just a little pry bar. I get comments on this thing all the time because this is my big slab of titanium that I shove at things if I can't get it to work. So I can use this as a drift pin. I keep my fingernails pretty short, so I use this to kind of peel up tape and such. Or just pry something if you're trying to get two pieces of truss undone and you don't have a mallet, or if you're trying to stick it in there and then mallet it from behind. This thing is great. It's very durable. It's, like I said, it's titanium. It's very, very light. I just shove it in my left pocket. And everyone always asks me about what these things are. These are just magnets just for fidgeting. So you may also just see me just sitting there, just fidgeting with these little magnets on here. I really like this thing. It's made by Big Idea Design. It's very expensive for what it is. I don't necessarily think it's worth it. You can definitely get this similar thing, or basically the same thing for a lot cheaper, but this is kind of just like a personal thing for me. I really love this thing very much, and so I keep it with me all the time. Another thing that I have in my pouch here, some mini cobras by Knipex. I don't carry pliers with me, like I said in the last video, so this is kind of my little pliers if I do need to ply something. I love the little head on it. It's very great for grasping things if it can focus up. Stop looking at my face. There it is. I love this little head. It can also open up and kind of get around bolts and such. So you can kind of open it up like that. These things are great. Not necessarily the best pliers that I have. If I'm doing a bigger task and I need a bigger set of pliers, I'd rather just run down, grab my tool bag, and grab the right pliers like needle nose or some linesman's, whatever the case. But, you know, for what they are, very, very durable. I think that Knipex is a great brand. This thing feels brand new. I use it all the time, so it's lasting me pretty well. So, can't complain there. I also have a little mini screwdriver here. I can't remember what brand this is. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here so you can see what brand it is and where I got it. I remember this thing being very cheap. I put the little lanyard on it so it can kind of act like a wira, if you've used those with a swivel on the bottom. So I kind of keep the bead in my back finger and then I twist it. So I'm not like constantly twisting it if you use other screwdrivers like that. This guy has a bunch of little tiny bits inside of them that just kind of pop out. Not the most elegant method, as you can see. I just have a bunch sitting here in my hand. Now I gotta have to fit them back in there. But, you know, for what it is, it's very, very tiny, and it saves me a trip from going to have to find the correct screwdriver. It's got 8 different heads inside of it. Very tiny. I like this thing a lot. I love this little screwdriver. All right. Next thing that I have inside this little leather pouch is a mini, what is this thing? It's an adjustable wrench. So it's kind of like a C wrench, except of course it's not a C wrench. It's not in the shape of a C. This one's also by Big Idea Design. And this one, I'd say I use this one the least, because most of the time I am carrying a full-size C wrench, and it's a lot better. This thing is very nice and compact, and you can see it swivels to close down. But like I said in my last video, when using wrenches, this one gets the bearings get caught all the time when I'm trying to use it. And so I really only use this in an emergency where I'm, you know, far away from my wrench. It's like in my locker, in my bag on the other side of the venue. And this is the closest thing I can get to when it's an emergency. Then I'll use this. It's small enough where I can fit it in my bag. And it's useful enough where I can validate getting this instead of grabbing a full-size C-wrench. But I wouldn't say this is necessarily my favorite piece of gear. This one, if I can find something better than this, I'll definitely retire this one first. But still, for what it is, very, very tiny. It's very well made, besides the bearings getting caught, just because the way that it's constructed. But hey, I think it's pretty good. You know, it's a nice little gift to myself. So, you know, you can see a lot of stuff like that in this kit is just kind of made for my niche scenarios. I'm a pretty niche guy, but, you know, I like to be prepared for anything as best as I can. Next thing I have in my pouch is a portable battery. This thing is a lifeline. If you're working, if you're gigging, going to a venue that you don't know, if you're just standing by, you need to charge your phone really quick. I love portable batteries. So this one is a MagSafe battery. My phone is an iPhone, so it has MagSafe on it, and it fits on there okay. But my apologies, had to take a very important phone call there, of course, from my wife. But back to the topic at hand. I was talking about keeping a portable battery with you. This is very important, just for especially charging your phone, but also for other things if you need to charge them. I find that something like this is very useful. This is one that I picked up from Ugreen. It's got a little stand on the back. I don't typically use the stand very much. But like I said, it's MagSafe, so it's easy for me to connect it if I have something else connected to my lightning port, such as like a dongle for my iPhone if I'm trying to connect headphones or other things like that. So it's useful for that. It does also have USB Type A out, and I believe the USB Type C is both for in and for out. This is also very nice because I don't have to carry an additional cable with me. I don't have to carry a lightning cable for recharging my phone. And I find that this is a little bit more useful than carrying multiple cables inside my little pouch. I can find a USB plug anywhere to recharge this, so that's what I carry this for. Very useful, and there's many MagSafe stuff that's very similar to this. This is just the one that I picked up. You don't necessarily have to get this one in particular, but something small enough that fits in your bag. That's what I like. Next thing that I have is a headlamp. Something that you may have noticed that I left out in my last video is that I don't carry like a flashlight on me, I typically just use my phone. I don't find many scenarios where I have to, whip out a flashlight super fast. If it's not as fast as me just taking out my phone and using it, and I don't need it to be as bright as like the sun. But this is a really, really nice little thing from Petzl. I believe it's called the E-Light Plus. But this thing's super small, battery lasts forever, and it's a replaceable battery, so it doesn't have a battery sitting inside of it that's going to die. This thing is going to last me forever as long as I can keep getting the right batteries for it. I think it's like 2025. It's the little ring-shaped ones. But this thing's great. Super tiny. Look at that guy. I can either wear it around my neck, which sometimes I do if I'm running around focusing lights and I just need to see the floor in front of me. It has a red mode on it if I'm working backstage and I don't want to have a huge like white light distracting the audience, so I like having a little red light on mine. But yeah, this thing's great. I love it very much. Very tiny, very compact. Batteries last forever, and then they're easy to replace when they do. It's not like other traditional headlamps where they have the battery inside and eventually the battery's going to die and then you just have to trash it. This thing's going to last me forever. So really love this headlamp from Petzl. Next thing I have, as I talked a little bit about, is I have a pair of IEMs. I keep IEMs, mostly just because I like, having a little privacy, especially on my break. I don't want to talk to a bunch of people, especially if it's been a long day and I've been talking to people all day. I can just throw some headphones in there. I like wired headphones more than wireless, kind of for the same reason that, I like that headlamp, is that these are going to last me a lot longer than wireless headphones. And I think that they generally sound better than wireless headphones. That's a personal preference. You may have a different opinion. But these are Shure 215s. I just picked these up from a local shop. I had some Eddie Modic IEMs that I loved. I believe those sounded a lot better than this, but these are very comfortable IEMs. The cable is pretty durable. People rave about them all the time. Not necessarily the best sounding. I've heard a lot better headphones than this. But these are great, especially for noise cancellation. If you're working in a noisy venue all day, where they're blasting music at you or they're ringing out the speakers and you're working in the venue, if you're just standing by waiting for someone to, let you know if you need your help, these are great for just, blocking some of that noise so you don't go deaf by 30. So that's at least what I'm trying to do, not go deaf by 30. Great. Next thing I have in my bag here, this is a good one. This is a, what's it called? Porta-Pow Pure Data Blocker. This thing is great for stuff like the airport, or if you're plugging into, something that you're not too familiar. If you're just plugging into a wall, especially like at a hotel. This thing, what it does is that USB plugs have 4 pins in them, and this thing just takes it down to 2, which is the positive and negative that's used for charging. So if you're connecting into a USB slot, you want to make sure that's not, taking data from your phone. Just want to make sure that's charging your phone. Attach this at the end of your cable, and that's way it's not going to take any data. It's not going to upload any data to your phone. Your phone's going to be protected with a little device like this. Very cheap. I'll throw a link up here, and I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, I think this thing is great. They also make a USB-C type version. I just need the USB-A. So keep something like this if you need to plug into something that you're not too familiar with and you want to make sure that your data is secure. So very cheap piece of kit and fits very nicely in my bag. Next thing I have, little, space pen, little bullet style pen. I don't know what this one was from. Field Notes. So if you know Field Notes, this is a nice little pen. It doesn't necessarily write the best, but it will write, and that's something that you can rely on in a pen like this. If you just need a pen really quickly, something to write with, this is great. I don't like keeping a full-size Sharpie in my bag. I do have it in other bags, but this thing is just so small, it fits in there. You can see it's just about the size of my palm. Very slim, so great for carrying around. And the last thing I have, also great for the airport, this thing's called In Charge. This is just a cable adapter, basically. So you can see it's got, if it'll focus, it's got the lightning Yeah, it's got the lightning and it's also micro USB if you need that. Sorry about my ugly finger right there. Both sides have USB Type C. They kind of pop out like that. And it's also got a USB Type A on one side. So I can connect basically anything to this little guy. And then if I want to, connect, where was it? I threw it back in the bag. No. Say I'm at the airport or I'm at a venue that I'm not too familiar with, need to charge my phone, or like my power battery, portable battery, there we go, we said it. I can just connect it like this, and boom. Super tiny, very easy to fit into my bag, and I know that my data is very secure, and I can charge basically anything. So, I love this thing, in charge. Very, very tiny, very easy to use. Great. That's basically everything that's inside of the main pouch, and there you can see I love the lining in here. It's very, 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 very beautiful. I love it very much. Then I have one extra pocket here in the front, and this is mostly just for paper stuff. I'll show you what I have in this. One thing that I have here is my yellow card for being a member of IATSE. So that's my yellow card. That's where I keep it in my bag so it's easy to access. One thing I also have in here, let's see, so you see this little bag here, I have cinnamon sticks. I keep cinnamon sticks with me because my wife told me that it wards off bad energy. So I keep it with me to ward off bad energy, bad vibes, always keeping the good vibes, always keeping it immaculate wherever I'm going. So I like keeping something like this just to make me smile, make me feel like I'm, protected when I'm out, especially after long days, or if you're arguing with the clients or arguing with your other coworkers. This makes me feel like I'm protected in some way. So, something like this just to make you smile. I love something like that. Another thing that I have in here, this is fun. Track lists. So when I used to do regional theater before I worked in a roadhouse, I learned multiple tracks for the shows that I was working on. And the way that I would remember them is I would write them down on these guys, especially if I was going into different tracks. I just keep them very small, very easy for me to read. I laminate them just using some clear plastic. And then, something like this, I just shove into my pocket and I walk around with. So I don't necessarily make a lot of these today. If I were to work on a show where I'm running a track over and over again, or if I'm doing multiple tracks, something like this I find very useful. This is just a personal thing that I do, but you may get some mileage out of that. I don't know. You can see I wrote in yellow is the things that I would mess up on, things that I want to make sure that I remember. And yeah, that's kind of all that I have in my little bag here. And those are all the important things. Yeah, that's my daily carry. One extra thing that I have is something that I don't keep in my bag, but I keep on me every single day. So this right here, it's upside down. This right here is my knife. I carry a knife with me all the time. This is my main blade. This is also made by Big Idea Designs. You see I'm a big fan of theirs, I guess. This is the TPT slide. And this thing is just a small utility blade made of titanium. You can see I put it on a carabiner here, and I just stick it in my back pocket. This may be a kind of a gross shot. Stick it on my belt loop, and I throw it in my back pocket. And that's what I keep on me all the time. It's super flat, super easy for me to use, very easy for me to whip out when I need to. Doesn't bother me when I'm sitting down, like a full-size flip blade would. And it's very easy to keep a nice sharp blade because if this gets dull, I can either switch it around or I can, get a new blade and put it in there. So this is my knife. I carry it with me all the time. It's also got a little hex bit on there for 1/4 if I have a little bit that I need to use. I don't really use that thing. It does have a little pry on it. If I'm not carrying my pry bar with me, I can pry using that or peel up tape. But yeah. That's what I carry with me all the time. Let me know if there's tools that you carry all the time with you. I know people may have bigger pants than me, or they just carry more tools than I do. But that's what I have with me all the time, at home or at work, whatever job I'm going to. I feel like a lot of the tools that I have can do basically anything that I need to do at a venue without having my full kit with me. So just let me know what you carry, and let me know if you have any questions or any suggestions of what I should cover in the future. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck to you all. Bye.